This video is going to be a short follow-up review for the Lebert Equalizer XXL. This is the tallest version of the Lebert Equalizer that they sell. Some pretty sturdy, high-quality dip bars. I've had these for about 1 year now, and I had somebody request for me to make a follow-up video. For a frame of reference, I'm about 5 foot 6 inches tall. I'm using the Rogue Nylon Dipping Belt. The purpose of this video is to show the biggest diameter of plate that can be accommodated on this XXL Lebert Equalizer bar using a dipping belt without having the plate hit the floor. And here in the camera, I'm holding up the belt to demonstrate how I shortened the chain. I took the carabiners that contact the main loops of the belt, and instead of attaching them to the ends of the chain, I tested out this setup, varying between attaching the carabiner to the 4th link of the chain and the 6th link of the chain. Listed on the website, the height of these bars is 33 inches off the ground. In the first set of weighted dips shown here, I have both of the carabiners clipped to the 4th link from the end of the chain. So basically I'm shortening the chain by a total of 6 links, because instead of the carabiner clipping to the end of the chain, it's clipped to the 4th link. I definitely noticed some plate striking, although with my dips I go a little bit below parallel. If you're not going below parallel, you might be able to get away with this chain setting without plate striking the floor. The plate wasn't touching my crotch at all, although it might look like it because my sweatpants are kind of baggy. This was pretty comfortable. In this second condition, I've got the carabiners clipped to the 5th link from the end of the chain on both sides, so it's shortening the chain by a total of 8 links. Here, the plate still isn't riding up into the crotch. I do my dips a little bit below parallel just because that feels like the natural range of motion for me, and I did notice the plate was lightly touching the ground at the bottom of the range of motion. I also do have a mat there so I don't damage my floor. I think if you didn't have the mat there, you could definitely get a little bit more range of motion without the plate hitting the floor. The blue mat in the video is almost 1 centimeter thick, so that does subtract a bit of the range of motion that you would otherwise be able to get before the plate hit the floor. In the third condition, this is getting marginally uncomfortable. The plate is kind of jammed in the crotch a little bit. It's not really that uncomfortable, and if you think about it, the duration of the weighted dip sets are pretty short, so it's really not that bad. In this condition, I have the chain the shortest. The carabiners are clipped to the 6th link from the end of the chain, so if you think about it, we're taking out 5 links from each end of the chain. We shortened that chain by 10 links. In this condition, the plate might have hit the mat once or twice, but for the most part, I was able to dip below parallel with a 45-pound bumper plate, same diameter as your standard 45-pound iron plates. Really, any 45-pound plate should have the same diameter if you're getting them from a reputable manufacturer. I'm talking circular plates here that are meant for Olympic weightlifting or deadlifting off the floor. These are going to have the barbell at the same height. I know it is an arbitrary height, but it is a standardized height, and these plates are a standardized diameter. Essentially, with the chain at the shortest position, plate very slightly riding the crotch, I am able to dip with a full range of motion, getting the shoulders even a little below the elbows, and the plate is kind of not hitting the floor. I might have tapped the floor once or twice in this condition, but I think if I took out the mat, it wouldn't reach the floor. I just didn't want to risk it and damage my floor. A few solutions. If you're really tall or you just don't want to have the plate ride that far into your crotch, you can put the feet of the equalizers onto slightly raised objects. As long as they're all the same, you shouldn't incur any muscle imbalances as a result, and that may allow you to get the plate a little bit lower. So if you could set up the equalizers in a way like that, where the dip bars themselves were slightly elevated, you might be able to get a little bit of extra range of motion and get the plates a little bit lower. So if you have 4 pieces of wood, 4 flat pieces of plywood, maybe kind of thick, or if you had 2 bigger pieces of wood, you could put each of the feet of the equalizers onto them. You could elevate your equalizers like that, as long as the entire foot is in contact with the piece of wood and you don't have any risk of falling over. This would give you a little bit of extra clearance for your plate if you wanted to do weighted dips and really guarantee that the plate will not strike the floor. This video is basically a subscriber request. They wanted to know what the clearance was like on these dip bars for weighted dips. Also, my height, 5'6". I said it earlier in the video, but in case you missed it, I am 5'6". Technically, if you had a longer joint segment from the elbow to hand, you might be even less likely to strike the plates, but it also does matter how long your torso is, because the dip belt is sitting at the bottom of your torso. If your torso is really long and you have short arms, then you're even more likely to to strike the plate. But if you have a short torso and long arms, then you actually might be less likely to strike with the plate, even if you're a taller individual. So a lot of striking with the plate is actually going to come down to your proportions, not just your raw height. Just to give you some frame of reference there, your height is not the only consideration when determining if you're going to plate strike. Honestly, if you really want to know, you should probably just test them out. If you already own a set of dip bars, maybe try out the solution I mentioned where you get those blocks of wood and elevate the ends, and as long as you have that space in the middle where your floor is actually lower than the feet of the equalizers, you should be able to get in some weighted dipping action without striking the plates. Let me know if this video helped you solidify your decision in purchasing this item or not purchasing this item or purchasing a different item, and let me know if you'd like to see any follow-up review videos on any of the other products that I've reviewed that you've seen on the channel. If you felt like there were some unanswered questions, drop a comment on those videos or this video, and I will answer that question. If I can easily answer it in writing, or if it requires a demonstration or a video, I will make a follow-up video. As always, thank you for watching this short video. If you liked it, share it, comment down below what you'd like to see in the next video, and don't let anybody stop your gains.